Hi, welcome to Videowave. I'm Stacy V, your VJ for today. And our guests today are the Raybeats. And I'd like to give you a little bit about what's happening this coming month, April. April's starting off with a bang. We're on April 1st with a benefit concert for the Casa El Salvador. The event, being held at Danceteria, is sponsored by Howie Montauk with the support of New York arts and music luminaries too numerous to mention. We hope that the waitresses and Bush Tetras will show up as tentatively planned. Also, April 3rd will be Medium and Khmer Rouge, one of the city's biggest, brightest outfits at Irving Plaza. At the plaza later in April will be Pig Bag, Maximum Joy, and Snake Finger. Brian Brain will be touring, as well as the Durruti Column, and Pete Shelley will be at the Ritz on the 16th. Look forward to Teardrop Explodes, Flock of Seagulls, Theater of Hate, whose hit Do You Believe in Westworld will be released domestically pretty soon. The Mud Club opened 2 new floors to experimental sounds and special events like solo gigs by John Cale and John Laurie. However, they're up to their old shtick again, which means if you stand outside for an hour and a half expecting to get in, you should be pretty lucky if you do. And now for the news of the hour. The Peppermint Lounge is still constipated. Either it doesn't want to move, can't move, even though everybody thinks it's moving, but at press time, or air time, according to Tom Goodkind, it isn't going anywhere after all. So best of luck to Tom and Frank anyway. The Cramps, see how I try to link stories together. The Cramps recently brought a lawsuit against IRS Records. They're seeking a contractual release. Hopefully, the best of luck to them. We know how long and tedious lawsuits can be. Our sympathies to those writers and artists who are part of the Soho News, and sorry to hear that Record World is in a state of suspended animation. Right now, we're going to go to our visual Spanish Bombs by The Clash.
Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm here with 2 members of New York's favorite instrumental combo, the Raybeats. I've got Jody over here and Pat over here, and they're here to talk to us on Videowave tonight. So why don't we start off by talking about your new album? It's called Guitar Beat on PVC Gem.
That's correct.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's green.
Yeah.
It's green and red, and it has 11 songs, original compositions.
We recorded it in England with Martin Rushent, who's has recently become Producer of the Year.
In Billboard magazine.
Yeah, he did the Human League and Altered Images.
Other bands other than the Raybeats.
Yeah. Okay, and it's out on Beggar's Banquet in England.
Right.
And it's going to be released here on PVC Gem.
It has been released.
For quite some time.
Quite some time, actually.
Okay.
Loud.
Did you have any trouble finding an American deal for your record?
Yes. We did, in a way. It was hard to, first of all, convince somebody that an instrumental band would be okay. And we really didn't convince anybody, except recently at our record label, somebody just listened to it for the first time. They've had it for around 3 or 4 months now.
It's been released for about 3 months.
I really like your record. Hey, thank you.
Good record, love it.
Won't get on the radio.
Yeah, well, don't you think that instrumental music is probably more universal than anything with vocals in it, because people of
Well, it has
all
been
different
successful
countries.
for recently even with Pig Bag. But yeah, I think so.
Are you licensed anywhere in other countries?
No, it's been a real travesty as far as business.
Oh, okay, so why don't we talk about touring instead of business?
No,
Okay, there's
sure.
another travesty. Let's talk.
So you're getting ready for a tour of the United States again?
No, just the Midwest.
Oh, just the
Whirlwind
Midwest.
Midwestern Tour. 8 dates and
In
9
fact,
days.
what happened is we had been touring steadily for nearly a year. In fact, sort of breaking clubs in for almost everybody else. We really were playing there before anybody else around the country in weirdo places.
So you consider yourself to be at the forefront of touring?
Yeah,
bands.
touring without a record out.
Yeah.
Was something that we did and we know quite well. And we were somewhere down in Arkansas, and we were in a diner, and it was about 6 in the morning, and we had decided that we had been spending about 10 hours a day in the van, and 4 or 5 playing, and we said we wanted to stop touring. And we haven't toured or played out of town for around 4 months. And we decided to do little short 10-day type things now.
That's probably a lot easier on your behind.
Well, it's economical and hopefully more intelligent.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the music? Now, a lot of people say that you sound like the Ventures or surf music. What originally made you want to start playing this kind of music?
Well, first of all, what is interesting is that we don't sound anything like the Ventures, and that's been sort of harmful to us. For, like, some kid just came up to me and said, you know, I never wanted to see you guys because you were supposed to sound like the Ventures, and who cares about that? I know what the Ventures sound like. Well, we don't sound anything like the Ventures. We don't sound anything like Pigbag either, you know.
Well, I didn't say you did.
No, it's just like there's lots of different things to have, lots of different instrumental bands of sounds. And the initial idea came up because we hadn't heard it, nobody had done it.
Yeah.
It just out and out wasn't done.
Okay.
Actually, it doesn't really sound like anything. We just make it up. You know, it's not.
So you just get together and it just comes out and it sounds like the Raybeats.
Just
Well,
make 'em up.
sort of,
Yeah,
yeah.
sort of. Well, we were talking a little earlier about the death of rock and roll. I think that's a controversial subject, and I think we need one right now. So, what makes you think that maybe rock and roll and touring and records are a little more lackluster now than they ever have been?
I think it's just an antiquated proposition.
Do you think
I don't think music is not. I don't see it as a huge cultural force that it was starting in the 50s and through the early 60s.
Do you think it has something to do with the economy? Because I think it's got a lot to do with the recession, and it just hits every other aspect.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no disposable income is diminished greatly. And so when there's people with $10 to spend on a Foreigner record or a Talking Heads record or a Raybeats record, you know, they're going to spend it on a Foreigner record, and if they have an extra little more money, it's Talking Heads. And then, but the money is really a factor, and it's just, you don't have the money to spend. You don't have the money to spend on to see entertainment.
Or very much of anything else. I think it's because just the fact that it's a stagnant economy makes everybody's outlook completely different. It's not.
Also, I think the whole proposition of going into a rock disco is deadening. You go in and you're expected, or you're not expected, you expect or you have to hear a song with that tempo at 120, and it's going
it's got to be 4/4, and you got to dance
and you've got
to
to
it.
march.
Yeah.
And you've march, kids. You got to get it.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with excitement or anything. It has something to do with selling records. And I don't know if the bands see that money. Maybe some of them do. But it's just getting really downright boring and awful.
Well, that's a terrible thing to say. Do you see anything like maybe TV helping bridge the gap and get people exposed to more new music?
I think if it happens, I think it will change completely. I think maybe the format will be radically different. I don't think we'll have records in the future, he said.
Okay, I think now we're going to take a look at a video that was taped at the Peppermint Lounge with the Raybeats live. Okay. That was live at the Peppermint Lounge. What song was that?
Rise and Fall of Flingel, Bunt.
Okay, and
Which
now
is a Shadows tune, by the way. A rare cover for the Raybeats.
Oh, so you're not all original material, huh?
No.
Oh, well.
We have such a highly original manner, though. No one could
No
do
one
those
would ever
tunes the way
know
we
anyway.
do.
Okay, so we were just talking about the Atomic Cafe, the movie, and I was told that you did a benefit for them. Could you tell us about that? Jody?
Well, the filmmakers, the people who put Atomic Cafe together are our friends. We've sort of hung out with them. They're originally, I guess they're based in Washington, D.C., and they've been making this movie for about 3 years or something. It's a really funny movie. It's found footage from government files, etc., of basically nuclear hysteria in the 50s, like fallout shelter weirdness and stuff. It's really good, and it's put together in a way that's really ironic and horrifying at the same time, because charred corpses at Hiroshima and stuff, but it's also just hysterically funny.
It might be too sick
Not too
mass
sick for us,
appeal.
though.
for a lot of people, because the humor is devastating, and you find yourself laughing, and then all of a sudden it's a cut to something that is not very funny at all, and the humor, you're still laughing, and it's very, very different kind of humor. And
So part of it is real and part of it is actual government-made films?
oh no, it's all found
Oh,
footage.
it's all found footage.
It's some stuff from TV, some newsreel stuff, government footage of the
It's American propaganda, is it?
bomb blasts and whatever it was, Los Alamos, that stuff. And it is, mostly it's American propaganda about the atomic bomb. It's neat.
Wow.
It's truly amazing.
Reefer madness of the atomic bomb.
Right, exactly.
And you can see it at the Film Forum right now.
Oh, right, that's right, by Canal Street. Okay, so do you have any great plans for the future other than just going on the road and recording and...
Well, no, we're going to be making another record soon, and I'm actually now very excited about it, because we're going to be making it with Philip Glass and his engineer Kurt Casey, and I think that it's going to give us a chance to work in the studio more in a different way than we did it before with Martin Rushent. I think we're going to be able to make more in the studio.
And do you think you're going to have more control over the proceedings
I
with
hope
Philip
so,
Glass? Yeah.
I mean,
and by virtue of having more time, which we hope we will have,
and then,
we'll have more.
and that should be very good. I mean, he wants to produce, really produce, not just be there.
Process, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a great guy, and he's really fun to hang out with.
And a fine performer on his own right as well. Yeah.
And he's a fan.
And we're also possibly going to make a modern beach party movie.
All right, finally. Okay. Thank you very much for being with us today. It's been very interesting talking to you. Now we're going to see a video with Mrs. David Sylvain in Japan called Visions of China.
Don't ever let something... First of all, the people who are going to be critical to you ain't worth talking to in the first place. If they can't look at you, to enter no one is to empty oneself. If you can't look at somebody and understand that they're just a good person to begin with, and leave them alone, let them breathe the way they want to breathe. If you've got to say bad things, then you ain't worth being in their same air. That's why Buddha did go to the mountaintop, because people are so confused. The only thing that is sure in this life is get a dog, feed him, and love him, and he'll love you forever.